Hey folks, this is Dr. K, and I just want to make a quick video, hopefully, about why the room title is not being displayed. So I've got my echo chamber here, and it just ran, and the description of the room is being displayed, but the title is not being displayed. So I kind of figured out what's happening, but instead of just giving you the solution, I want to show you how I track this down, because you're probably going to have to do stuff like this all the time. Well, maybe not all the time, but quite often in this project. Okay, so I'm going to stop this. Okay, and what I did first was I debugged it, because I knew I had this. I knew in the adventure view I had a refresh method that was that was critical to displaying the output. Okay, so you can see this. Whoops, maybe you can't see this. Okay, so this refresh method is in adventure view. Okay, this is part of the view. And what happens is when some text is entered into the input field, okay, the controller looks at that text, and the main thing it does is it runs process input. Okay, let me see. It runs this process input. Okay, cleans up the input a little, and then it runs process input. This is the main thing that it's running. And what process input does, remember this is the controller, what process input is going to do is it's going to update our model. Now our model is very simple. Our model is just this world class with a few global variables, with two global variables. In the original code I gave you, it had a couple more. It had like header, and it had I can't remember, description or something like that. But I would advise you now, or as soon as possible, to take that down to just two. All you need is a current room and a current message. Okay, current room is a room, current message is a message. Okay, so we want to look at the refresh method, but we also want to know where our current room is assigned. And our current room is assigned in my game. Okay. Right here we say world current room hallway. It's created also in my game. So what I'm going to do is, in the main class, I've already done this, but I'm going to put a breakpoint at line 10. Okay, because that's where it's calling the my game constructor. Alright, and I know the my game constructor is where room's created. I know that's where room is assigned to world.currentRoom. Okay, so I'm going to put a breakpoint there, and I'm also going to go into adventure view, and let's see, do I have a breakpoint? I didn't want to put the breakpoint in refresh. Let me see, maybe that's a main. Maybe I'd call that from main also. Yeah, I'm going to put, let's see, so here's my game. Here's where it creates and assigns the room. Here's where it creates the view, and I'm going to go ahead and put a breakpoint at refresh, and then I'm going to step into this. So I don't think I need this refresh down here. Alright, so let me see if I can figure out what's going on here by these two breakpoints. So I'm going to go into debugging mode now, and it should hit this. It should hit line 10 immediately when I start debugging. Okay, so let's do that. and there it hit line 10, and I'm going to step into the constructor of my game and see what's going on there. Okay, there it's creating the room. Okay, and I'm just going to step over here. Basically, step over means step to the next line, and then this is interesting. I already have what's called a watch point here that's telling me that I'm watching world current room. So I want to get rid of this, I think. Let's see if I right click on that. I'm going to remove all watch points here because I want to show you how to create one. Alright, so I want world dot current room. I want to set up this as a watch point, a watched variable, or watched expression, I should say. So I'm just going to click the little eyeglasses here, the plus with the eyeglasses there, and there it's adding this watch point. Actually, I don't need two of them here, so I'm just going to get rid of this one. I don't want to remove all watches. I just want to, I would just like to remove this one. Okay, I still have, it said remove all watches, but it just removed one, it looks like. So I'm left with this one, okay, and I'm going to expand this, and it says no name, no description. And if you look at world, it gives you no name, no description right off the bat, all right? But I'm going to go back to our execution point that the debugger's on, and I'm seeing it's creating this room now. All right, so I'm going to step to the next line, and now it's assigning this room hallway to the current room. But my current room still says no name, no description. That's because I have not reassigned it yet. All right, so once I step over this line, I'm going to expect it to say hallway here for the name. So let's go ahead and do that. Boom, and then it changed the hallway, and the description changed to the description of the hallway. All right, fantastic. So I'm right on track now. So I know that my game is running, and my game is assigning the current room in world, the global current room variable in world, my global class, my global model class. So I know it has what I want. So I'm just going to continue. I'm going to resume the program, and it should go to my other breakpoint, which I can't remember what line it was, but it was right when I'm calling refresh on the view. Okay, I think it's still. I'm still doing this in main, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. And there it is. Yes, I'm in main, and I'm calling view.refresh. All right. So view.refresh basically reads from the model and updates the view. Okay, that's what it refreshes the view. All right. So I'm going to go inside this, and we're going to see what happens here. So let's go inside. So instead of stepping over this to the next line, I'm going to step into this method. Okay, and here I am. Here's the refresh method, and I'm inside the method. And this says if the current room is null, then throw an exception here. All right, and otherwise, if I don't throw the exception, I'm going to build this HTML string, because the output area is set up to take an HTML string, and it's set up to render HTML. All right. And look at this. Here's my HTML string, just to kind of show you what's going on. I'm creating a string builder, which is a really traditional way to create a non-trivial string. And I'm just going to say, okay, first of all, to that string builder, I want to append get name, and I want to make it a title case name. And then I'm going to append the description. And not only that, but you can see these, the bracketed things here, these are HTML elements. So that's why I'm doing this. I'm going to say start a new paragraph in HTML, make this boldface, okay? And then for the description, start a new paragraph there. And for the current message, start a new paragraph there and make it italics, or that element here in HTML EM, that means emphasize, okay? Okay, so I can still see, I'm still watching world current room. That's a global variable. It's visible from everywhere. So I can still kind of keep this open and say, okay, it is the hallway. Fantastic. And it still has the right description there. Okay. And now look what I'm building. I'm building this HTML string. And for some reason, hallway is not showing up in my output, as we've seen, and that's the mystery we're trying to track down. So I'm going to set a breakpoint there. Whoops, I already did. Okay, but originally I didn't have that breakpoint, but I wanted to set a breakpoint here just so I could examine the HTML output that I'm putting into the output area. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and resume the program, and it should jump to this breakpoint, and it does. Okay, and now I can examine HTML output. I can examine that string, and you can kind of see that as I examine the string, the first words here are "you're in a long hall with a high ceiling." In other words, hallway should be right here, right between the bracketed B and the bracketed slash B. That's the end of the boldface. There's the beginning of the boldface. So hallway should be right in there. All right, but it's not. Why is that? Well, if we look at, look, what goes between the bracketed B, what goes in the bracketed B, it's this string utils to title case world current room dot get name. Okay, and that's great, but current room dot get name, I can even type this out like world dot current room get name. All right, and if I add that, world dot current room dot get name is hallway. So there is something there. So what does that tell me? That tells me if I'm building this string and there is something in get name, the problem is in this method to title case, which takes hallway basically as a parameter. All right, so it's doing something to hallway that I don't want it to be doing. All right, and that is the problem. All right. And you can do other things like this. You can do other things with this to test what's going on. Like, well, let me just show you something. So the room is hallway, right? What if I wrote large? Oops. What if I wrote long hallway with oops? It's got to be kebab case. Remember, your name is always in kebab case. And then ran this. I didn't expect this. I expected to see long hallway up here, but even that is not working. Okay. Well, that's fine. So what I did here is I just went and asked ChatGPT to write me a method that changes kebab to title case, all right, and uses capitalize. Okay. And I said, make sure if there's no dashes in there, that it just capitalizes the word. Okay. Here, okay, so it's got the method capitalize. I'm going to copy this code, and I'm going to put this into string utils. I'm taking a little bit of a risk here because I haven't tried this yet. So I'm going to put this into string utils. It's going to overwrite this capitalize method and override this toTitleCase method. And it's going to call it kebab toTitleCase, so I have to remember that. I'm just going to paste this in here. And there's a related problem, and this is the related problem here, is that I originally just called it toTitleCase. So I'm just going to rename it back to toTitleCase, and that should solve that problem. It's telling me I have another. Is it telling me I really have another problem there? Looks like it's saying I have a problem there, and I'm not sure why. Because I need to end the class. Okay, I figured that out because I put my cursor here. I highlighted that, and I found out where the beginning of that was, right there. Okay. So I don't know if it's going to work, but well, I'm going to try it. I have long hallway in my game now, so let's run it. And look, long hallway, that one works, but you know, I'm splitting words up on dashes. What if there's no dash in there? Like hallway. Hallway doesn't have a dash, so let's go back to my game. And let's change this to hallway. And let's run it. And there it is. Okay, so it's looking good, and what the culprit was the toTitleCase method in string utils. So that's just an example of debugging, and I will give you this this code from ChatGPT that modified that toTitleCase method. All right, that's all I got. Hope this was interesting, and we'll see you on Piazza, and we'll see you at the next Q&A.